Hi, this is Mark, and you're listening to Sports, Politics, and Occasionally Cats, SPOC. Welcome to our podcast today, where you will learn interesting and funny stories about sports, of course, and occasionally politics, but more importantly, stories about wonderful cats in Emmett's life. We're so glad you're here. You can follow us on all the Instagram sites and Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, and wherever you get podcasts. Remember, it's sports, politics, and occasionally cats.
Hello, and welcome to today's episode of Sports, Politics, and Occasionally Cats.
It's good to be back with you for season 2. We're back. We took a little break. Emmett, tell them why we took a break for a while.
We took a class together this semester, and in between that class, my last ASL class to graduate, Thanksgiving, the holidays, we just lost. We didn't have a lot of time to do episodes.
Yep. We wanted to put time into making sure the productions were good, but we're back. This is our winter break activity. We're great to kick off episode 1 of season 2. And man, what a news day, Emma. We got so much to talk about. It's been a wild NFL season.
Yeah.
Royals are making some off-season moves, and it looks like some people are getting a new home. Maybe even as we speak, that's being rolled out as we're taping this show. The Chiefs are all gathering over in Topeka. So my gosh, we'll have a lot to talk about on episode 2 once that all gets out. So Emmett, why don't you kick us off now that we're back? Let's go through the Chiefs season. Dare we talk about it at this point? Oh my gosh.
And this is a little fact that I saw online, but if you watched the game yesterday, you'll understand what reference. But Mahomes and Minshew both tore their ACLs quite literally 8 plays apart.
8 plays over 2 games. Yeah, what a mess.
So
I feel bad for both Gardner. He had a chance to come in and maybe show himself to be the quarterback for some part of the season next year, but that's not going to happen now. And poor Patrick went down toward 2 ligaments, so he'll be aggressively rehabbing. But that sort of just sums up the Chiefs season. Just nothing could go right. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I mean, so now the Chiefs have to. Well, at least what I hope they're thinking about is like, who are they going to sign to take over? Because I mean, I don't have a problem with Chris Ladokin. It's just what I do have a problem with is if he goes down and we don't sign someone, our quarterback is Noah Gray, and if you're new to the Chiefs, Noah Gray is a tight end.
Yeah, I don't think that's a real solution for the Chiefs. They got to go find somebody, but. I was just doing some homework myself, and the Packers may be down 2 quarterbacks, so there may be a couple teams out there scrambling to find a warm body to come out of retirement or off the practice squad of another team or somewhere just to come in and be able to take snaps. I agree. Yeah. Noah Gray, I'm not even sure I'd want him handing the ball off, let alone making many pass plays unless he's on the back end receiving. So that'd be unfair to him and the Chiefs. But it's just a rough season. I said early on in the season, talking to you and your brothers about the Chiefs, that they seemed really predictable. Everybody seemed to know what was coming, what they were doing. They weren't outsmarting other teams.
Yeah.
They weren't getting the close calls that they got a season before. And if you really look back, you could see the Chiefs, some of these signs were probably there last year. They pulled out so many games the last second and by 1 score, had a few calls go their way last year, but boy, they didn't have any calls go their way this year. I mean, it was just a tough year all the way around. They got salary cap problems going into next season. A lot of big names signed for big contracts. So I tell you, Brett Veach and Andy Reid and Mark Donovan, they got a lot of work ahead of them.
Yeah, and we were discussing this morning. We went on a stroll. Our dog is just over there, and we can't say the actual words. It is anyway, but
he'll get all wound up if we start talking
stroll.
About that. Yeah,
anyway,
stroll.
And we were discussing who the Chiefs could bring in. And one thought I had was Kirk Cousins, because Kirk Cousins has made it very clear he wants out of Atlanta.
Yeah, well, we're not going to take on his $40 million contract. That would really blow us out of the water in the salary cap. But it'd be nice to be able to get somebody like him. Problem is, you can't get somebody off another team unless they either cut that player because you can't trade for anybody at this point. So they're really going to be
up a creek
looking for guys who are on other teams' practice squads who have some familiarity with the Chiefs' offense. But right now, they just need to get a third body in there. And plus, they just got so many other people, particularly on their offensive line, banged up in concussion protocol and other injuries that have been hampering them. So if the bright spot in the end of the last 2 games now of the season is maybe they can get some of these guys who were second stringers or on the practice squad that they've been kind of burying on the roster, get them some playing time and see if they're keepers for the future, because I think they're going to have to make a lot of moves this off season to shed some payroll.
So I'm just curious, Adam, which teams do you think will A, get the 1 seed, and then B, come out of the AFC and NFC and for the game in Santa Clara in February?
Yeah, that's a great question, Emmett. I think a week ago we were talking about this, and you and I both seemed to be pretty locked in on, the Patriots and the Rams, and then the Rams go get beat by Seattle, so that threw that up in the air. But like we talked about earlier, I think to me, maybe the Rams or Seattle, dark horse. I don't know. Do the Bears have a chance at maybe a number 1 seed? That'd be something.
I mean, the Bears had a wild game against Green Bay on Saturday.
Oh, that was a fantastic game.
Yeah. Of every game I watched Saturday, college and NFL, that was the one game I was most excited to watch, and boy did it live up to the expectations. Anyway.
Yep. But that game-winning touchdown pass was a thing of beauty. So in the NFC right now, if I had to pick a team, I'm going to go back. It's going to take some luck, given that the Rams got beat by Seattle. But maybe if Seattle stubs their toe, the Rams could go in there. And then I think in the AFC, it's really down to New England or Denver. But Denver got beat by Jacksonville, so maybe Jacksonville's sneaking up. But right now, I think with New England making that comeback victory late last night, kind of pull that game out, they might be my front runner for the number 1 seed.
I'll be honest, I don't care who wins the Super Bowl. I just don't want it to be the Rams. And the reason I don't want the Rams to win it all is because if they win, then Los Angeles will have won 2 titles in 4 months.
The city of Los Angeles.
Yes, and I don't want that to happen. And the other team's the Eagles, because they wiped the floor with us in February, and I don't want them to win anything.
Yeah, so I'd take the Rams over the Eagles.
But I also don't really like Josh Allen, but it's our Josh Allen, the Patriots, the Broncos, both teams I don't particularly want to have any success. But so I don't want Josh Allen to win the championship, but I might just have to buckle down and cheer for the Bills. How about you?
Same thing. I like Josh Allen. I don't like him when he plays the Chiefs, obviously, but I think he's leading MVP candidate in my mind.
Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, Matthew Stafford. I don't like the Rams, but I give it the MVP to Matthew Stafford. How about that for consistency, guys? But anyway, part of me is I'm just an old-fashioned kind of underdog person, so I'd like to see the Bills get in the Super Bowl and maybe actually win one for a change.
Yeah.
That would be kind of nice for them to get that monkey off their back. So, yeah, in terms of Santa Clara and the Super Bowl, I'm kind of leaning towards the Bills. I think they've got the experience and the talent. So let's see if they can make the run, get it through and make it into the Super Bowl. Then the NFC, I think that's fairly wide open. I think any of those teams, the way they've been playing of late, could make a good solid run towards the end of the year. So for me, I'm going to go what I think we talked about a couple weeks ago. I'm still kind of leaning towards the Rams and Buffalo with a outside chance, maybe Denver sneaking in. But Denver, again, I think, but they stubbed their toe yesterday, and they've won a lot of games, but they had kind of like the Chiefs last year. They had a lot of last-second miracle kind of things going through. So Buffalo, Los Angeles, what do you think? Who are your two?
The Broncos are most likely going to sweep the Chiefs. The Patriots, the Patriots aren't far removed from their dynasty. I'd probably say maybe the Bills fans tend to complain whenever the Chiefs beat them. I guess Jaguars maybe because
Ooh, that's a dark horse candidate for the Super Bowl.
yeah, the Jaguars can still get the 1 seed. By the way, they're like and because they won yesterday, they're like 1 game behind Denver, and they have the tiebreaker. So anyway,
So the Jags, and who would they play? Not who you want them to play, but who do you think they'll end up playing? Which could be the same thing. You may want them to win.
I mean, I'll be honest. The Jaguars are kind of like the Mariners this year. I feel like no one thought they were going to be any good, but I'm going to say Jaguars and how about Jaguars and a team that no one thinks is going to go very far in the Panthers.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's a line.
And call me crazy, but I think it was 2007 or 2011, one of those two. The Giants went like 10-6 and choked in the second half of the season and still won it all. So.
Yeah, I thought you were going to go for the Bears. How about the Bears and the Jaguars?
I mean, I am from Chicago.
Okay, there you go, hometown team. You got to find a good one for now. So yeah, let's hope the Chiefs can do some slick maneuvering over the off season and get a roster kind of retooled a little bit, get Mahomes back. But with Gardner Minshew going down, the Chiefs have got a lot of tough decisions going into next year. So it's going to be an interesting off season, and I think looking way ahead, maybe for season 3, we can talk about the Chiefs' outlook for 2026.
Yeah.
Any more football news?
I think I'm good.
That's great. So, hey, the Royals have been managing to stay in the news of late. We're going to the Royals rally in the end of January, and when Mahomes went down, we were like, how many days till spring training?
And what's even better makes me even happier for next season is Jazz Chisholm might not be a Yankee next year.
Maybe. Okay, we got that Jazz Chisholm thing out of the way. Okay, I know how
we don't like Jazz Chisholm.
Well, you took exception to him kind of taking it on with Michael Garcia, which gets us back to the Royals. They've signed Michael to a long 5-year extension. That's great. He had a great breakout season last year. And
Witt's coming back.
Salvi, they signed him to an extension.
Salvi may or may not be here in 2 years. We'll see.
Yeah, let's not get ahead of ourselves. But I like how they locked down Michael and then Seth Lugo at the end of last season. Like you said, they've got Bobby locked up and they got Salvi so he can make kind of his retirement run with us and run through the tape. And, on Michael, if he can do what he did last season for 4 of those 5 years or 5 years of that contract, that'd be great. I think a smart move by the Royals. I kind of like what they've done to go ahead and go sign people that they can hold on to. They get kind of team-friendly deals and build up a good pitching staff. They've made a couple trades. They made some right near the end of the season that looked like they worked out well. And then they traded away some pitching.
And got Matt Strom.
Got Matt Strom back for Jonathan Bolin. I think that was a good, smart move, a real proven effective person. He's been in Kansas City before. All-star, a little bit older, but I think he'll be a great addition to the roster. And then the trade they made with Milwaukee, I think, brought what was he, number 4 in the rookie Rookie of the Year voting.
Was that the Angel Zerpa trade?
The Zerpa trade, yeah. And, I liked Angel, and I thought he had a strong left arm, but you got to give something to get something. So I thought that was a smart move. But I think they're still out there looking for a bat, so let's see. There's
Aaron Judge.
They're not going to get Aaron Judge. They can't afford to pay him. He's half their salary already. Not happening. But I think they may give up a pitcher. Chris Bubich keeps coming up as possible trade bait.
Yeah.
I know some teams are interested in Noah Cameron, but I hope they hang on to him just because he's a young lefty with controllable years. So
and Noah Cameron is about as homegrown as it get. He grew up in St. Joe. He grew up coming to Royals games. Like he's about as homegrown as it gets. He's a one pitcher. Like I might be upset if they trade Bubich. I might be upset because he's kind of a good pitcher. But if they trade Noah Cameron, I might be on here making a rant video.
Yeah, there you go. Well, and I think, the Bubich trade, he's only, I think, got one more year of arbitration. He can command a little bit more. He's had some health issues. So if you can get that consistent bat in the outfield with some good to better defense. That's probably a smart move. I think hanging on to Noah Cameron, he really was a workhorse last season for being a rookie. And he's got so many years of control left that's somebody I would vote that they hang on for, unless they can get a real haul for him. But to give up any pitching, I think you need to get some quality in return, like the Zerpa trade. I think they got pretty good quality with that. So we'll see. But I think I looked up the first preseason game is February 20th, so a mere 2 months away, 60 days or so, give or take. And we're into baseball, which after football would be nice to get into another sport.
And I'm calling it the Royals go 90-72 and make it to the playoffs this year.
Okay, heard it here first, folks. 90-72. Let's write that one down on the board.
What do you think they'll do?
I would take 90-72. I think that's not an unreasonable expectation.
Or what if they go 161-1?
Well, I'm always the optimist on opening day. It's a chance to go 162-0, but probably not going to happen. But 90-72. Wow, that'd be fantastic. That'd be a big bounce up from last year. If they could get 88 wins, I think that'd be great. So that's not too far from what you want. As you and I've talked on so many of our pre-production walks with the dog with Logan. Oops, I said the walk. Oh, he's quiet over there to the side. Dodge that bullet. Yeah, right, exactly. They just can't have a June like they had last year.
Yeah, that was a really horrible June.
They won one game at home the whole month of June. If they'd won 4 more games, they probably were in the playoffs. So I don't think it's too unrealistic, and particularly with some of the moves they've made, assuming everybody stays healthy, everything, blah, blah, blah. I think 88 wins, 92 isn't beyond too far of a stretch. So go Royals. Yep. Looking forward to a Royals rally. Yep. We're all going to go out there, the brothers and maybe your niece, and we're going to wear blue and get ready for baseball in the dead of winter.
Well, I might wear my Nationals hat. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, but it's always fun to go to the Royals rally in late January when the winter doldrums are kind of sticking, getting a little long.
And seeing famous Royals announcers like Joel Goldberg.
Yeah, and running into them, and Ryan Lefevre's usually there. It's always
and
just
Whit.
And we've seen Whit before, so it's always fun just to get a little baseball going when the winter months are long, cold days of winter. It kind of brings a little warmth to the heart to be thinking about baseball. So, Emmett, what's going on? We put down doing some current events. Usually it's sports, politics, and occasionally cats. But there's just a lot going on. I guess it's kind of small p politics between Kansas, Missouri, Jackson County versus Wyandotte, and possibly Johnson County, Kansas. Why don't you give us a quick update what's going on, what we think's going on today with the Chiefs? We'll maybe find out when we get done here.
So as of this recording, at 3 p.m., I think I heard there's a press conference with the governor of Kansas, Laura Kelly, about the Chiefs officially signing a deal for the new stadium to be on the Kansas side. And let me just say this: I totally get how it's going to be lost revenue for the state of Missouri if they move over to the Kansas side. But I mean, I don't have a problem with it. Just like it's the same for the Royals and Chiefs. Like I don't care where they move. I just don't want the Royals or Chiefs or both to move north of the river because we already travel in like 20 minutes to get to the K as it is right now, and that's kind of a little inconvenient, I feel like. So I mean, the Chiefs might be moving over to Kansas. I'm okay with that because we'll get first dibs on tickets for the new stadium. And in case have you seen the renderings of one of the stadiums?
I have not. I have to look that up.
It looks awesome.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what the ideas turn into. But yeah, it's looking like a pretty sure deal that by the time we get done recording here, there'll be an announcement of the Chiefs moving out by the Legends, out by the racetrack, and maybe even building a new training facility. And everybody, I don't care if you're the Chiefs or the Royals or anyone else, want that mixed-use development to go around to develop revenue streams when there's not games going on. But it sure looks like it's a pretty sure deal. They'll be moving out of Arrowhead. I just before we got on to record, Emmett, I saw something pop up on my news feed that the Royals, according to unconfirmed sources, have notified the county, Jackson County, that they won't be coming back to Arrowhead after their lease expires. So looks like we're going to have this big vacant lot out in eastern Jackson County where the Chiefs used to play. It'll be sad to see kind of the iconic Arrowhead go away, but it's a 50-year-old stadium, and I can appreciate the Chiefs wanting to do something better. Plus, it looks like they may put a dome on from some of the early renderings I saw, and I think, a Hunt family dream for decades, even going back to Lamar Sr., was the Chiefs to host a Super Bowl someday, and they're not going to do that if they don't have a roof over their head. So sounds like a pretty sure deal for them, good for the Chiefs. Ticket prices are probably going to go way up, just as it happens in every other NFL city when they build a new stadium. So I think the comfort of a couch, instead of buying an expensive ticket, we'll get a new comfy couch and a bigger screen TV and watch at home.
Yeah, and we can pretend that our downstairs is actually a suite at the new stadium. That's what I do sometimes.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's why we set it up that way in our family room in our recording studio is where we're at.
And as for the Royals, I heard a rumor about them putting the stadium at 119th and Knoll. I personally, I'm a little lukewarm on that. For one thing, it'd be great to have the stadium 10 minutes from our house. But on the other hand, there really isn't a whole lot of room on that plot of land they're thinking of, because they just built some giant buildings on that plot of land already. It's like there isn't a whole lot of room for a new stadium there. So I'm kind of lukewarm on that location.
Yeah. So as season ticket members, I got to fill out a survey, and that's pretty much what I said about the location would be close here, but I think traffic would be a problem. I was out that way just doing some commuting or driving around to do some holiday shopping, and at 4:00 the roads were kind of packed. I can't imagine what they'd look like on a game day. I agree with you. While there's room for a stadium out there, there's a whole bunch of other entertainment and dining options already out there. And if the Royals want to put up some kind of event space or something that draws people in for revenue outside of the 81 plus days, if they make the playoffs, they're going to be competing with a lot of people. And of late, you've heard a lot of the local government and civic leaders kind of coming out and saying, I'm not really sure we want you as a neighbor kind of thing. So I think that pushes it more towards downtown Kansas City or North Kansas City. I'm not like you. I don't mind the North Kansas City option. That's my second favorite place. I think they've got a lot of open space up there. I think they've got the opportunity, if they go up there, to kind of motivate the powers that be to get the streetcar going over the river and heading into the Northland, which would be good.
Yeah.
But my favorite spot is the downtown location. Just kind of an old sentimental. It's not old, but for since Camden Yards and others have come along, kind of the downtown vibe would be pretty cool. And I think if the Chiefs, as it looks like they're heading to Kansas, I think Missouri and Kansas City, Missouri, and possibly Jackson County are going to pull out every stop imaginable to get the Royals in Kansas City, Missouri, in that downtown location. If they lost the Royals to either Kansas or North Kansas City, I think that's just going to be a big setback for the city.
I'll be honest, I don't care too much where they put the new stadium. I just, if they put it in North KC, I will deal with it. Just the one place I don't want it is the Legends, because if they put a baseball team in the Legends, that's going to kill the Monarchs, and the Monarchs are another favorite baseball team I like. So if they put it there, that's going to kill the Monarchs, and I'm going to have a problem with that.
Yeah, but I think if the Chiefs go out there and then the Royals want to have this kind of entertainment district around their stadium, they're going to end up competing with them. So I think hopefully if the Chiefs go out there, that eliminates the Royals. I don't think they're considering a location there. They've said that in their survey it was either the 119th Aspiria campus, what I still call the Sprint campus, North KC, and then downtown. My hope is no matter where they go, and a lot of the newer stadiums, say the last 10 years or so, I mean, one of the things I really, really love about Kauffman is it's very roomy and the sight lines are good, and there's for a stadium, they've got good seating comfort. You don't have to turn at odd angles to watch the game. You can get into a seat, and you, me, and your brothers, we're all tall people. We've got leg room, or enough leg room. Our knees aren't hitting the back of the seat. I just hope they maintain some of the comfort and mobility. I really like the 360-degree plaza walk around. I think the renovations out there were really great. And it's going to be hard to replicate a lot of that in the fountains if they go downtown. But I just want the seating and the sight lines to be comfortable and not crammed into a tight spot.
Yeah, the two things I want in a new stadium, I love that jumbotron, that giant crown jumbotron. I love that, so that and the fountains, if the Royals build a 45,000 seat stadium and they have those things, I'll call it a win. I mean, well, this is a side note. I kind of like them to have more seating in the new stadium. I mean, every other stadium has more seating than we do. Bush has like 45,000. The Yankees, sure? It's somewhere in the 40,000.
Okay.
The Yankees have like 56,000 or something. The Dodgers have.
Yeah, but that's New York and LA. My guess is it'll be less than the current configuration at Kauffman, which is right around 39,000.
37,903.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that little clarification. Not that you're picky. So around 38,000, close enough. But my guess is they're going to come in around 35,000, maybe with some additional standing room only for playoff games and whatnot. So we'll see. Hopefully, if the Chiefs clear the field of one big decision, the Royals and whomever they're working with, it's been a pretty bumpy road for Kansas City Royals Stadium decision. So hopefully they can wrap something up in a bow and get that to us fairly quickly. Well, Emmett, we're pushing up. We got to get our current events, although the stadium choices are current events. But
for our politics
thing, we know, we won't name any names, but we know some people very close to us who spent, about 42 days, was it, on a shutdown through the government? Yeah. It was nice to have time with people, but it was really unfortunate that so many of our friends and former colleagues were out of work for so long.
Yeah.
But it's nice that they're back at work. That was kind of an unfortunate situation.
Yeah, and I'll just say this. Shutdowns make life difficult for government employees. Like in this particular shutdown caused a lot of problems. Air traffic controllers weren't getting paid, so they weren't coming to work. That's a really major problem. And all these government employees are used to having that steady flow of income. We're getting less, or that flow of income stops. So that shutdown was a very big deal, and maybe we can avoid that again, because the worst thing that can happen, one of the worst things that can happen during a shutdown is air traffic controllers not getting paid and not coming to work, because they make sure planes don't crash. And if we don't have them, we're kind of cooked, right?
Yeah, no, and I think you touched on a good point. I mean, it's obviously a hardship for all the government workers who weren't working and weren't getting paid. And then for those, not only air traffic controllers, but TSA security people, all of those people being expected to work and not knowing if they'd ever get a paycheck again. It just shuts down services, and I think we're better as a country than shutdowns bring about. But you're right on the money in terms of it's always good to have those services that many of us don't recognize happen on a day-to-day basis, but kind of happen quietly in the background. But to your point, it keeps us safe, keeps commerce flowing, and it's just really unnecessary. So no more shutdowns. Fund the government. Let's get things working again.
And one last thought about shutdowns. This comes from a teacher from my high school, and I won't name names, but she said in class one day that a shutdown makes us look weak, and that's true, because when you have a shutdown, you aren't paying your military, and if you don't pay them, they might walk off the job.
Well, the military probably won't, but you're right. It does make us look weak, and we're better than that. We can do better.
Yeah. So maybe we can see how long we can go maybe we won't have another shutdown for a couple of years, maybe.
Yep.
Knock
Yep.
on wood.
That'd be good. That'd be good. Well, they've got to fund the government before the end of January. So hopefully after the new year, when they come back, they'll get all that figured out. But speaking about the new year and looking ahead to maybe episode 2 of season 2, we weren't really we do sports, we get the politics, but occasionally cats, we need to work on that. So we're going to have we're working on a special guest appearance by one of our favorite cat people and her cat. So whether that's episode 2 or 3, we're not sure. We got to work out, lining up talent and special guests takes some coordination, but we're hoping we can get them on for a segment.
And maybe we can get in either this season or the latest season 3, the man, the myth, the legend, Les Norman to our podcast.
No name, remember, So
he's
shout out. We love Les. We were on his show, and he's the one that motivated us and inspired us to really sit down and do our podcast, which is called
Sports, Politics, and Occasionally Cats.
Welcome back to season 2, episode 1. We look forward to doing more over our long winter break and keeping it alive. And remember, if you like this, comment in the comment field. And what else do we need people to do?
Like, share, and subscribe to the podcast as it helps fuel our mission to be as popular as the Kelsey brothers.
There we go.
See ya.
Thanks. Welcome back.
Bye.
Hey, this is Mark, and thanks for joining us today on Sports, Politics, and Occasionally Cats. SPOC. What a great show we had today, Emmett. Those were wonderful stories. I can't wait to follow up and listen again on all the usual sites where you get podcasts. Go to Spotify, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you find your podcast. And it's SPOC. Sports, Politics, and Occasionally Cats. Wow, that's a great, funny story we had about that cat today, Emmett. Thank you so much for listening, and we look forward to hearing you on our next show.